Hello and welcome. What the fuck? We'll just restart that. Blip, 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 blip. Here we go. Hello and welcome to Three's a Crime, a true crime podcast. I'm Tori.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Lindsey.
And that's our intro.
Here we are professional podcasters.
We're podcasters, bitches.
Are you ready to start?
Bitches ready.
We're so ready!
Oh wait, fuck.
Oh.
Ghost is ready to.
Let me tell you what, it has not buzzed until we said we were ready.
Listen.
Oh! Alright.
So before we start, let's maybe go over the feedback issues we've had the last few episodes.
Oh,
Tori,
yeah. I'll let you go ahead and
Hey,
we'll
Tori,
post this. Hey,
where's your fucking microphone?
Right here. Hi.
So Tori is electric as hell, but the feedback that was coming off of these Warren stories was so real. It's a fucking problem.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was real loud. It was real intense.
it
For
was
as
a
loud
creepy
as
times.
as loud as it is for you guys when you're listening to the episodes, and we do apologize. There was just no way. It was so powerful. There was no way to edit it out. So we apologize, but Emily's house is haunted, and that particular ghost. Really
I felt
likes-
her right there,
She was over
just
there, 1,000%.
having a great time.
Yeah,
Mia growled freak, which we also got that. I mean, everything that happened. and
Mia freaked out. Something touched me on the top of my head that caused me to like rip off my headphones and throw them across the couch.
Yeah.
That was the most activity we've ever had.
Yeah, it was really intense.
The devil made me do it. Apparently, it was real. I have to tell you guys that a friend called me or texted me yesterday, and she goes, "Thanks, bitch. I'm watching all the Conjuring movies now." And I was like, "Keep your nightlight on." So sorry about the feedback. It's probably going to happen through the summer as we record here, and there's nothing I can do about it. So
we
it's
apologize.
part of our irresistible charm. This is
Yeah.
four is a crime, and I also can't help that my dogs are chewing stuff in the background. No one has said anything, but it's kind of just gonna be part of our MO, I think now. There's always a ghost and there's always a dog.
There's always
Yeah.
gonna be
doing
dogs.
something in the background.
No matter where we were. I mean, we all have multiple animals. Emily has.
We have 9 between the 3 of us.
Yeah, Emily's got 4. Lindsay's got 3. I have
3
2.
and a cat.
3 and a cat. That's right. So we have 10.
4. And then I have 2 dogs now, but I'm always fostering, and so yeah. So that's us. And like we totally understand if you're like, I can't listen to this. That's okay. We might not be for you.
Yeah.
But if you can stick with us through the summer, it'll get better back when we don't need central
We won't.
air.
Yeah, we won't. be
Emily's
doing-
the only one that has central air.
Yeah.
I am. So here we are. I also wanted to say that we are patrons of Murder Incorporated.
Yay!
So we have 2 friends, sort of, who I met.
They've become good friends.
Yeah, they live on the other side of the country. But we had done an ad for them last month. But they're 2 guys that live in New York, and their names are Harley and Buddy, and they're amazeballs, and they were asking us about Patreon, and I was like, dude, when you get it, we'll be your first patrons. And Then they did it, and so we were their first patrons.
Yay!
So go listen to them. We love them. Here's an ad spot for them.
Boopity-bop-bop.
Shit, I fucked it up. Do it again.
Sorry, no, you do it.
No.
Oh, fuck. Boopity-bop.
Boopity bop.
Welcome to an undisclosed location. We are Murder Incorporated.
Give me one good reason why people should listen to our podcast, buddy.
Because you're getting true crime from a nerd and a murderer's son all wrapped into one.
Yes, my father is a murderer, and you are indeed a nerd, buddy.
What else sets us apart, Harley?
I truly believe our empathy for the victims and their families shines through every episode.
Also, 100% of all our listeners have not been murdered.
We are Murder Incorporated.
Actually, wait, one more thing before we start. What we don't do?
Bloop, bloop, bloop. Here we go.
Do you want to say why? Because we're waiting a week before we do the final Warren episode. We're doing a little.
Yes.
This is almost like your palate cleanser, like pause between like to the final
The
Warren.
spooky, yeah.
But it's real fucked up, so it's not really a palate cleanser. But it's different than what we've been doing.
It is, yeah. Well, so I had just so many people. This week was just one of the craziest weeks I've ever had. 2 therapy appointments in a day. I have,
That's a lot of therapy, man.
dude, I'm feeling it.
Yeah. I bet.
My therapist calls it a therapy hangover.
That's how
She's
I
like,
feel.
it's so real, or a vulnerability hangover.
That's how, yeah, I feel like a walking open wound.
Exhausting.
Mhm. And then my friend Jen is in town. Trish is visiting, and my dad and his wife are in town. And my friend
Shout
Kate.
out to Patrick.
Patrick Green.
Patrick Green, our patron. And
Yay.
your dad's here over Father's Day, too. which
Trisha's
makes
also
it-
a patron.
Yes.
Trisha's also a patron.
Yes, she is. Trisha.
We
I
really
love
do
her.
love our patrons.
We
We
do.
do. You should be one.
Yeah.
Yeah, be a
We'll shout you out.
Patreon.
Go do it right now.
But yeah, so thank you guys for being patient with me because I am tired.
She was a little burnt out. And the Warrens are, honestly, the entire process of this whole Warren thing has just been exhausting, like in
It's
general.
been wild. I
It's-
did not.
I don't know why it's happening. It's just
Dude.
been kind of a whirlwind.
It's crazy because, I don't feel like we've done any more research than we normally have.
No.
Or that our recordings have been longer, but there legitimately is, there's legitimately something soul sucking, energy
Oh, God.
sucking about covering this stuff. I mean, it's
Mhm.
been really weird. And it's funny because, Lindsey and I are both like pretty much into the woo. We've gone full deep and,
Full
with
woo.
full woo.
Full
and
woo.
Emily is kind of our woo virgin. She's she's probably the main skeptic, and then me, and then you're just like,
I'm full
I
in.
believe everything.
I believe
Mhm.
there's
Um,
unicorns flying right now. You don't know. We
That's
don't
right.
know.
But yeah, it's been super, like, you are the one that I would think would be like, yeah, I don't know if I'm buying this or whatever, but like you've had weird experiences
Dude.
all month long too.
My body just feels weird. The whole thing
Yeah.
is just weird. It's just, I was trying to tell it to Michael because I asked him, like, do you believe in this stuff? Are you skeptical? And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty skeptical. This was like before we watched the Conjuring movies.
Oh,
And now he's kind of like in the same boat of like, I don't really know. Like, it's just kind of, ooh,
Mhm.
like,
mhm.
Yeah, it's
And
like
it's-
a funk. It's like a
it's
heavy,
weird. It's
dark.
weird.
Yeah.
Like a
when-
dark cloud around the entire
When you did your
thing.
Amni though,
That
um,
was a weird
we were like you were totally happy, high on just releasing that.
Yes,
and
I
Emily
was
and I wanted
after
to just
that.
crown a hole.
Yeah, after that
Crown?
particular episode, and I mean, we recorded that one late in the evening,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh, man.
as soon as I was done, I was like, "Whew, I feel light as a feather."
And
And
Lindsay
these
and I
two were
felt
just
like
like, "Oh my
we
god,
were
I gotta go to
drowning.
bed right
Yeah.
now." But then after you told yours last week, I was like, I went home and I slept all day Saturday.
I
like,
slept
all day.
till I think it was noon or 2 p.m. or something.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
and Mike was like, I tried to wake you up and you were not getting up, so I
Yeah.
just let you sleep.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I was
I've
so
had to-
exhausted.
I've had to really protect myself with
Yeah,
going deep into the Warrens because my mom, when I first started, I didn't protect. She was like, I was just sitting on my bed and I just saw this dark shadow of a hand come at me from my shoulder.
Hate that.
Oh wow.
And I was like, fuck, Mom, I'm sorry. That's probably my fault because I didn't.
Didn't do your woo before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to.
Mm-mm. And it's so weird because I mean everything that we cover is dark. Everything
Yes.
that we cover is sad, and but this has just like it's really just been different, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that we did it, but I'm not looking to do demonic stories.
Like, we're
for
probably
a while.
going to take a fat break from
Yeah.
any paranormal for a minute because seriously, the only word I can think of is exhausting. All I've been watching is Modern Family. I can't watch anything serious right now because my brain can't handle it.
I've been watching I'm like, what is the most wholesome things that I can watch? Although this week I've been watching a lot of reruns of Criminal Minds on Netflix, but oddly,
Love Criminal Minds. That's
that's a comfort show
that
for
is
me.
Totally like Law and Order for you.
I was gonna say all I've been watching is Law and Order.
So
I think sometimes
because it's a comfort.
Like CSI is also a comfort show for me.
because they always solve the case at the end.
Exactly.
They always catch the serial killer. They always, well, not
Medical
always,
shows
but
are always-
99% of the time
Yeah.
they catch the serial killer, and so you feel like, oh, okay,
There's some justice.
everything's okay.
Yeah.
There's some justice out there. So we will be back next week with Lindsay's story
Yes.
on the Warrens, but this week Emily,
We're just gonna go right back to straight up
Yep.
old fashioned death.
just some plain old murder.
Just some plain old murder. And I'm gonna tell you, this one does not get wrapped up in a tight little bow. Sorry in
So-
advance. Isn't it so good?
Husband just came in and gave the cookies a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
those are good, huh?
They're so good.
Everyone tell husband happy birthday.
Happy
By the time
birthday.
this episode is coming out on your birthday.
XOXO Gossip Girl. Did you get
XOXO
that from my
Gossip Girl.
That's what it reminds me of.
Oh my god, you're so
That's
right.
awesome.
I'm picturing everyone with a
XOXO.
flip phone.
Gossip Girl.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
it's
Michael,
his
husband,
birthday
Michael.
today, the day that we release it.
Did he say stop it?
Yes.
He did.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear
Husband Michael. Husband.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay. So, you bitches.
Bitches.
You bitches.
We're going to talk about Phoebe Handsjuk.
Phoebes.
Today we're going back to Australia.
Australia.
Today we're in Melbourne.
Ooh.
Melbourne. Isn't that how you say it?
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Yeah, I think it is.
I don't think you're supposed to say the R. I think it's
My cousin married an Australian, so I think that he talked like that.
Melbourne.
Well, he talked like that. I'm sorry, Australians. Don't listen to me.
He talked like that. It's funny. The last crazy story I did was on Catherine Knight, who was also from Australia.
Australia.
So-
face.
So I'm gonna warn you ahead of time. A couple things about this. One, huge trigger warning. It gets a little gnar.
Oh no.
Animals?
No,
Okay.
no,
Fine.
no animals, no kids. It gets really gruesome.
We have 58 listeners in Australia. That's what I was looking up.
Listen, okay.
So,
okay.
please rate us and or send us a voice message of how to say Melbourne.
I've heard.
correctly.
Well, I know that they have
Melbourne.
regional accents too. So I was listening
Right.
to the Morbid episode on
Mm.
this, and she was saying she was saying episode,
Episode. Mm.
but then like regionally it could be episode or episode or episode. I don't know. So it's regional. I don't fucking know. Okay, I am not gonna speak with an accent.
Yeah, we're not going to tell the story.
I
No.
speak
Don't worry.
American. Okay,
We're from America.
we're from America. Okay.
No, give us a Bud Light.
So, in the evening of December 2nd, 2010, in a luxury apartment building called the Valencia
Oh.
That's bougie.
Yeah.
in Melbourne,
Melbourne.
39-year-old Anthony, who went by Ant.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, Anthony Hample used his personal key fob to get inside the building and head upstairs to his apartment on the 12th floor that he shared with 24-year-old girlfriend Phoebe Handsjuk,
How old was he?
39,
She's how old? Sorry.
24.
24.
Oh, yay.
So, when I say key fob, I this is how I picture it anyway. I used to have an apartment up in Hilliard, but it was an old building, but they renovated it so the inside was like so cool. I had a spiral staircase in my apartment that went
Holy
upstairs to
hell.
a loft. I had like I don't remember how tall my ceilings were. Really tall ceilings.
Very cathedral type
Just
ceilings,
really
I think is what they
cool
call it.
like apartment. And you had a key fob that was plastic, but it had a little magnet, and it was the only way that you could get into the building, and then the only way that you could get into the apartment. And in my apartment, if someone could like ring up to my apartment, and I had a home phone in there, and I could buzz them up to
Mhm.
my apartment. So that's how I picture this.
Right.
Yeah, I
That's-
worked at Rings and Things. They had like a little fob
Yeah,
to
so
get in and out.
it's really secure. So when he reached his front door, his American Staffordshire Terrier Yoshi greeted him. And I'm not gonna lie, as I was Googling this, I definitely Googled pictures of the dog specifically. His American Staffordshire Terrier Yoshi greeted him, but he couldn't see Phoebe anywhere. According to Aunt, he arrived home just after 6 p.m. And the first thing that he noticed was that her purse, her wallet, and her keys were on the kitchen counter, but Phoebe was not there.
Oh, this is very Joanna Yates.
This is very Cecil Hotel,
Oh.
is what this.
All right.
And actually Joanna Yates, because I had the same thought, which was part of the reason I wanted to do this, because when you started talking Joanna Yates, I was like, oh,
Like a spooky Joanna.
yeah.
It's just creepy to, when somebody comes home and like all their stuff's there, but
Yeah.
they aren't.
Yeah.
So sorry, just saw Lindsay's socks. Lindsay's wearing socks with little slices of pizza
A little
on them.
pepperoni pizza on them.
So
She
cute.
always has fun socks.
Always. She never has boring socks. on.
Never.
You can't live your life with sad socks.
Okay, so he arrived home just after 6 p.m., noticed that her purse, wallet, and keys were on the counter, but she was not there. And she also had a key fob on her keys.
Mm.
He's like, she couldn't have gone far because she didn't have her keys. She's got to
Right,
be
she
like in the
couldn't get back
building
in the
somewhere.
building.
Right. There were also candles burning, and her flat iron was plugged in the bathroom.
Oh.
For those of us who are fire paranoid like me, who has like literally been halfway somewhere and driven home to make sure that I turned it off,
Yeah.
that's,
I'm the
Pretty
same.
dude.
Coming from someone who
Who
burned their
had
house
a
down.
house fire,
I should
frequently-
stop saying that you burnt the house.
I say it all the time too.
Because
sometimes I say
technically-
it for shock value. I'll
Right.
be like, yeah, and I'll just say it in passing, like, yeah, and then I burned my house down, and then and they're like, wait, and I'm like,
She didn't actually burn. The house
I
burned
didn't.
down, but
and it
not
wasn't
her
from a
fault.
flat iron or a candle. It was literally the walls.
It was just
the
wiring,
walls
bad
started
wiring.
on fire. It was a bad house. Let's see. She left her flat iron plugged in. Yep.
Candles burning.
Candles burning. Aunt said that he ended up calling her dad at 6:52 p.m. So this is roughly 52 minutes after he got home. He calls her dad and he's like, hey, have you seen her? And he's like, no, I haven't seen her. She arranged for me and you and her to go to dinner tonight at this place called the Golden Triangle
Oh.
for her dad's birthday. Her dad's name is Len.
Oh,
Len.
Len.
Len's birthday was 2 days prior, and they had plans to go to dinner tonight.
Well, happy birthday,
The Golden
Len.
Triangle kind of sounds like a strip club.
That's kind of what I thought. Like, I thought, like, that doesn't sound like a pleasant place to be.
I honestly thought of a fancy Bermuda Triangle. I don't know why.
And he's like, yeah, I wanted to see what time we were getting together. And Aunt told Len that, like, she wasn't there. He's like, again, but her purse and keys are here. They're on the counter, so she can't be far, right? Like,
Mhm.
where the fuck is she? So, before we go into how she died, let's talk a little bit about her background.
Oh, all right.
Are you ready? So, Phoebe was creative as hell, okay? She was really good at writing, art, everything that she did.
Cool.
She loved to be outside, really active. She played basketball as a teenager. She was a rock climber.
Jesus.
Skilled in martial arts, karate, and kickboxing.
Oh my God. So she's got a lot of energy.
she could fight back.
She was a tough broad.
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
And I'll show you guys a picture of her. Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Isn't she
She's
like
beautiful.
super-
She's just shining.
Aw.
She's just like a happy thing. She just
She's a cute-
is
yeah, she's
really
super
pretty,
cute.
super cute.
Adorable.
Now we know why the 40-year-old was like, hey, let me get some of that.
Hey, girl. So Phoebe had struggled with depression, and she was on antidepressants from the time that she was 16. But she started using drugs and alcohol really early on to cope.
Self-medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As she got older, this seemed to get worse. And I was thinking, with her age, she's 24 years old. It's not like uncommon. I was just telling someone the other day when Michael and I were dating, I was 20. So when I turned 21, everything we did was like out drinking.
Yeah.
And that wasn't like weird. You know what I
That's
mean?
what you do.
Yeah, I could see
Right.
how
If you do that, if you drink and stuff.
I could see how she would also like be self-medicating without really realizing she was
She was
doing
self-medicating,
it. Yeah.
right?
So
Because when you are in your early 20s and you
That's what
hit
you do.
21 and you're like,
I did the
"Woohoo!"
same thing, and
You
I didn't
partied
realize
up.
it till later.
Yeah.
it's just
How much I self-medicated.
Yeah. So she was also not consistent with her antidepressants. So anyone who has taken antidepressants
Ugh.
knows.
Yeah.
Fucks you
And
up so hard.
I was finding that if I don't take mine literally every day, I will sleep for an entire day, and the like effect of that is like the day after I miss it. So it's like fucks you up if you're not consistent. So everyone out there,
I used to get withdrawals if I didn't take it earlier in the day. So like
it's
at night,
crazy.
I was like, oh God, I need to take my pill.
She wasn't consistent, and her dad, who was actually, I don't remember if he was a psychiatrist or a psychologist, one of those.
Okay.
Who knew about antidepressants was like, don't do that, right? Like he
please don't.
wasn't her doctor, but he was like, dude, you gotta take them.
You have to be consistent.
Yeah. She was always interested in older men. She was incredibly beautiful. I literally wrote like insanely pretty. She was so pretty.
Is.
And like
She's
her
just
spirit
very-
is like happy in her face. Like she
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
looks
she glows.
She's very girl next door
beautiful.
in that, like, just way that when she'd walk into a room, that everybody noticed her.
Mhm.
Kind
Yeah.
of way.
Yeah.
Look about her.
So along with her being beautiful, she also frequently got the attention of older men.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her whole life, she had dated older men. I mean, yeah, but she was really
Sometimes-
close with her dad.
That
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
mean
I know.
that there's not daddy issues.
I'm just saying, I want to be clear. I think her dad was like her poor.
Sometimes when
It's really sad.
you're an old soul and you don't want to deal with the dumb fucking young boys.
She seemed very, yeah. I mean, she just kind of like danced to the beat of her own drum.
She
and,
did
like,
what the fuck she
whatever.
wanted.
I think. I mean, this is just me saying it, but it kind of strikes me as she was just like, yeah, like why wouldn't I date some older rich dude? Like, why wouldn't you? Then go for it.
Well, and women mature faster than men.
Yeah.
Totally. She frequently got the attention of older men. Her and Aunt were super different. She was really creative. I wrote she wanted her house to look like mine. There's just kind of like everything is like colorful. There's like art or like personal photos. There's like art shit everywhere. There's fucking a basket of yarn literally sitting next to me. She was just a really creative person. Aunt, on the other hand, was the total opposite. He didn't like clutter. He even had a housekeeper that came every Wednesday, and she said that he told her to like clean the house and make it look like nobody lives there. Like he was, which is funny because it reminds me of Brittany's husband Derek, because I tell him that his house looks like a model home.
Yeah, I remember them telling.
I'm like,
yeah.
your house looks like a model home, and I get so excited if I see like a dish in the sink or something, and I make a huge deal out of it because I'm like, you are human. He's just so, it's just one of those
Very
preference
type A,
things. Just very
Tidy.
yeah,
tidy.
very, very tidy. So the only real thing in there was like 2 photos of the 2 of them, but most of it was just white walls
I would.
and
I'm so sad.
I know. I
in that
googled
place.
photos of this place. I mean, it's on the current website, but they had like floor to ceiling windows, like
Ooh.
oh my god, like super ritzy, beautiful as hell.
Okay, this
How
motherfucker's
long
loaded.
had they been
So-
dating? Do you know?
18 months.
18
Hmm.
months. I don't know. I'm picturing like American Psycho.
I was just gonna say.
Were you?
Yeah, I was picturing his apartment.
Yeah.
Even though they were dating and living together, she still paid rent on the place that they shared. He was also the son of a retired Supreme Court judge and the stepson of a county court judge.
Oof.
He was an events promoter. Super successful. He worked with people like Michael Jackson, AC/DC. Like he
Wow.
was loaded. Their relationship was not great. Like 1 out of 10, don't recommend.
So why were they still together if their relationship wasn't good?
They were one of those people that just like would break up and then get back together, break up
Got
and
it.
get back together.
Okay.
And there were even times I heard like a few times he like kicked her out. They'd like get back together and he'd kick her out, and she'd call her dad and be like, "Dad, he kicked me out." And he'd be like, "For fuck's sake," and like
Oh
go
my
pick her
God.
up, and she'd be on the side of the road with her bags, and it was
Yeah.
just
The constant.
a roller coaster.
Right.
Not
feeling great about Aunt.
Yeah.
No. I was okay, but then dropped the ball.
All right. AC/DC. So their relationship wasn't great. It lasted about 18 months, and it, like I said, was just very on and off, consistently inconsistent all
Nice.
the time. He didn't like her friends. I kind of picture
Well,
her.
of course not, because he's almost 40.
Yeah.
And her
Like in her
friends are,
20s,
like,
like,
20s.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, you got a bunch of woo girls and an old guy.
Seriously. He didn't like her friends, and he also didn't like her job. He said she was a receptionist at like a super famous hair salon, like I don't remember the name of it, but it was a super famous hairstylist. She was a receptionist, which is where she met Ant because he gets his hair done there.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, so he probably didn't like it because he didn't like the fact that she could meet somebody else.
He said it was, quote, below them and
Yeah,
made
that's
her
what
get
I
a new
gathered.
job.
What a
That's what I gathered from. I was like, oh,
Yeah, I don't like
that's
him.
Not, good
Not
enough.
like an Aunt.
While Phoebe was living with and dating Ant, she even became involved with her art teacher, another older man. But that was
Wow.
short-lived. There was a whole bunch of drama surrounding it. She, I guess, sent an email saying, "I demand you to have an affair with me." And he was like,
What now?
No. So I'm not
My.
going to go into that. But if you want to hear the whole thing, there's a podcast called Phoebe's Fall. And it is an amazing podcast on all the details of this.
Okay.
And Morbid did a 2-part episode. And Phoebe's
nice.
Fall, I think, is 4. And I think each episode is only a half hour long.
I just keep hearing the clickety, clickety, clickety of your...
This, I'm sorry.
We have
I'm
no.
fidget spinners.
So Lindsay bought me fidget spinners. She bought me one in every color.
They light
And
up.
They light up. And it's funny because I was opening them while we were in our meeting, and I didn't notice until this bitch at my left told me I was opening every single color. Because I was like, "Oh, Lindsay, don't buy every color. We don't need that." And then I sat there and played with like 6
Everyone.
different colors of fidget spinners.
Yep.
So if you hear it,
It helps Emily.
it helps me. According to her friends and family, in the weeks leading up to her death, she had actually been trying to break up with Ant. So it was just, again, I think they were just in like a bad time. So she was like, "Yeah, I just am like kind of over it." And
I'm
there's
24. I don't have to deal with this shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there's like a bunch of details about like she called her mom and her grandma, who she was super close with, and was just like, and just, had normal talks with them, like, "I'm just not really feeling this." And they were like, "Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good choice." And everyone who kind of knew them was like, "Yeah, like they're fine, but like the vibe is just a little
off.
I wonder how
Just a little
old her
off.
dad was. Like, I wonder what the age difference between Aunt and her dad was.
Oh, I don't know. Well, if she was 24, I don't know. That's a good thing to think. I don't know. So she'd been trying to break up with him. She had met with her grandmother, Jeanette, and the way that her and her grandmother were like me and Oma, like best friend, loved her grandmother, Jeanette. And she was saying, "I'm thinking of leaving Aunt." And she had actually planned to quit her job and like move somewhere new. She was like starting a whole
She's
new
done.
life. Because, I mean, she was young. She didn't have like a career. She just, was like,
Well, and she had to quit the job she liked.
yeah,
because
she's like,
it
"I
was
don't want to be
beneath
here,
her.
so I'm just gonna bounce."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Go, girl.
Yeah, you do you, boo boo.
Go girl.
Go, girl.
Girl power.
Girl power. Oh, she also told her grandmother that she wanted to be sober, which is important because remember I said she was self-medicating,
Yeah.
and it was with like other stuff too. I mean,
Yeah.
again, not that it's an excuse, but like she was in her young 20s. She was probably like experimenting with stuff, and she was like, she basically was like, "I feel like shit when I drink." She also said she preferred like cocaine and weed over alcohol because they didn't give her such a nasty hangover the next day. She also wasn't the best drunk. So 2 drinks would just like
Level her.
knock her out. She was pretty sloppy. She just couldn't
couldn't.
Alcohol was not her friend. Some people just can't handle it like other people can. The day before she died, she sent an ominous text message to her family. Would you all like to hear it?
Yes.
The message said, quote, "Hi, family. I am in bed and about to sleep. When I wake, I will transform into the most incredible human being you've ever seen. I will go to the hospital. It's safer there, and I hear the special tonight is tomato soup. Delicious, nutritious. I love you all very much, but not enough to send an individual text. Sorry about that, but time is sleep, and I must be on my way. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. XO."
Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl.
XOXO. What
Gossip Girl.
is that? What?
Okay, I think I'm going to need you to read that to me one more time.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Hi, family. I am in bed and about to sleep, and when I wake, I will transform into the most incredible human being you've ever seen. I will go to the hospital. It's safer there, and I hear the special tonight is tomato soup. Delicious, nutritious. I love you all very much, but not enough to send an individual text. Sorry about that. But time is sleep, and I must be on my way. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. XOXO, Gossip Girl.
That's
Ominous as
bizarre.
fuck. Weird, right?
Super weird.
Okay, so like all of it is weird. Don't
Tomato
get me
soup
wrong.
is not nutritious. Gonna throw that out there.
Well, that, but like also, I'm going to go to the hospital. It's safer there.
So
Yeah.
the thing I kind of heard was maybe that never gets addressed, by the way. We never know what that meant.
Oh,
I just want
fuck.
to put that out there. Was like maybe because she was thinking of like getting sober. Maybe she meant hospital, like rehab center. And they're like, that's the only real thing I can think of.
Yeah,
Besides
that's the
that,
only
it's
thing I
all
can
just
think of.
nonsense. Like,
Yeah.
it's all nonsense. The message was sent to her father, Len, her boyfriend, Ant, her boss, her friend, Michelle, her mother, Natalie, her brothers, Tom and Nikolai, her grandmother, Jeanette, and her mom's partner, Russell.
That is bizarre. She sent it to her boss.
Delicious, nutritious.
Not true.
Her mother, Natalie, received the message just as she was boarding a plane.
Oh, God.
Yeah, which is like the fucking worst.
Oof.
Like, she was really concerned when she got it, so she called her mom, Jeanette, the grandmother, and was like, "Can you
Go
check on
Can
her?
you go check on her and make sure like she's all good?" Also skeeved out by the creepy message, Jeanette called Aunt and asked if Phoebe like was okay. She's like, "We can't get a hold of her."
Well, and one would think that Aunt would be with her. So why was Aunt included on the text message?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I know.
I'm just
know.
I'm just talking out
She's
loud.
I
gonna
know,
just,
I know,
She's
I know.
gonna figure it out
I
again.
know she's gonna.
This is
solve
gonna
it.
be. What was that other one that you're gonna sell? Dyatlov.
I think he sent that text message.
Okay, so Jeanette is skeeved by the creepy message, and she calls Aunt and asks if Phoebe is okay. And he's like, "I didn't see the message, but yeah, she's sleeping. Like she's here, she's sleeping off like a gnarly hangover." And he's like, "Everything seemed fine." So Jeanette's like, "Okay, can you just tell her like call me when she wakes up, or text me or whatever." So
Oh no.
now
Okay.
we're going back to the evening of December 2nd. Okay, so Aunt
So
comes
wait,
home.
when was the text message? What was the
night
date?
before, December 1st.
Okay, so December 1st. So then December 2nd, I'm assuming he got up and went to work and left her there sleeping?
Yes.
Okay.
So that morning, Phoebe was fighting off like the world's gnarliest hangover from like 2 days before.
Oof.
Like, she's feeling pretty rough. Aunt left Phoebe that morning at 8:30 a.m. to go to work. He said he was going to go to the gym first. At 9:45, Phoebe sent an email and used her computer a few times. They had like a shared, I think it was a desktop computer, and they shared it in their apartment. At 11:45 a.m., a fire alarm went off in the apartment building, and there's CCTV footage of Phoebe leaving the building with her dog. And in the footage, you can kind of see her like stumble up against a wall, and people were like, "Oh, that means like she was drunk," but she has a pit bull who's
Right.
fucking
Oh,
dragging her
yeah.
And
along.
I don't know that people, like, if you don't have a pet or have never been near one, like, they're incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Like, if they decide they want to go a certain way, you're going to go with them.
So the fire alarm goes off at 11:43. The video shows her going out. She goes back into the building at 11:50. This is the last image of her alive.
husband's in the kitchen.
He's heating us
making
up some
dinner.
tortillas for some pork carnitas. Nobody knows what happened between 11:50 and 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is when he got home.
Do they know what her time of death was?
You don't even know how she died yet.
No. Well,
You don't know
kind of
anything
assuming
about
that
her
she
yet.
fell.
From where?
I don't know because it was called Phoebe's Fall. So.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Emily, despite how many times she's played Hunt a Killer, not entirely sure she'd be the best detective.
I wouldn't.
Oh, also you can use our code 3AC at Hunt a Killer to get 25%
25%
off.
off.
your first
25% off on the killer. Mia.
You didn't even lift your head.
Mia.
She's like, hey,
No,
go.
but she scared the shit out of me when she did it.
Okay, so we remember in the beginning, he shows up, she's not there,
Mhm.
but her keys and whatever.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're going back to this night, okay?
Mhm.
So his key fob was used at 6:05 p.m. So they know that he came home at 6:05 p.m. When he got inside, like I said, she wasn't there. Her purse, keys, and phone were there. There were several Post-it notes around the kitchen with random scribbles on them. And when I say scribbles, I think it's like she could read them, but like nobody else could. I don't know if they're just like, oh my God, I need to make a note of that. Then I need milk at the grocery store tomorrow. I could have said that. I don't know. In the bedroom on the bed, Aunt said that he saw what he would later call a shrine. The shrine contained a photo of Aunt and Phoebe, a photo of her cat, and a whole lot of other rambled notes. Candles were burning flat iron plugged into the wall, like I said.
Ugh.
The shrine later gets called into question whether or not it even existed because no one except Aunt claims to have seen it.
Oh fuck.
So
And if he was worried, wouldn't he have left it up?
Mm.
yeah.
I think he's trying to make her sound crazier than she was.
So at 6:51 p.m., about 45 minutes after Aunt arrived home, Phoebe's father, Len, called her phone. So remember in the beginning, I said, like, he talked to Len. He's like, hey, where is she? And he's like, I don't know. We're supposed to have dinner. So what actually happened was Phoebe's father, Len, called her iPhone, which Aunt says didn't happen, and
Weird.
says that at 6:52 p.m., he called her dad on his own cell phone. But according to cell phone records, Dad was correct. He called Phoebe's phone. Nobody answered. 60 seconds later, Aunt called her dad. Len is like, dude, we're supposed to go to dinner at the Golden Triangle. Aunt is like, yeah, her keys and purse are here, which is super weird, but like she'll probably be back. And Len is like, dude, my daughter's not fucking there. Like I'm kind of, a little worried. And especially with that weird text message from yesterday. He's like, this is weird, man. And so he goes, I think we should report her missing. And Aunt is like, you usually have to wait 48 hours before they'll even consider someone missing. So I don't think we should do that.
Ugh. Mm-mm.
And so,
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, okay. So technically, I don't know. I might have been like Aunt in this particular case where it's like it's 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at this point. She's not home. Yeah, she sent a weird text message, but like
as far as they know, she's only been gone for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know because at this
Right.
point it's 11:30 to 6:05 is the
Yeah.
window that we don't know what happened. So
Right.
he probably assumes she's out. I don't know. I don't know what you would
But
be
the
doing.
dog greeted him, so the dog was there. So it's not like she took the dog for a walk.
AC/DC.
Someone.
I just keep saying it.
Phoebe's dad, Len, calls Phoebe's brother, who's like her best friend. His name is Tom.
Oh, Tom.
Love you, Tom.
And he's like, hey, can you contact like some of her friends to see if anyone has seen her recently? Because like
This is weird.
W-
he's like, I'm
WTF.
kind of creeped out that like I haven't heard from her. He also called Natalie, Phoebe's mother, and just was like, again, we just like call around and see where she's
Mhm.
at. Natalie called Phoebe's friends and got a hold of a friend of hers named Bren, who she was really good friends with, who said that they went out for drinks on Monday night. And the super long story that I heard was basically she went out drinking and people were like, okay, I think I want to go home. So she'd like call another friend, be like, hey, you want to go out drinking? And they were like, sure. So he was like her, 11 p.m. like, hey, I'm out partying. You want to come? And he's like, sure.
Okay, so Aunt's story about her being super hungover was legit because she had gone out drinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Still not feeling great about Aunt.
And he said, she seemed kind of, he's like, I mean, she seemed okay, but like, she seemed kind of like she was in a super party mode, like kind of on a little bit of a bender. And meanwhile, her dad, Len, was just like trying to calm himself down. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
How any person would think is like, okay, I'm worried, but like, it's only been a couple hours, so maybe it's okay. So he tried to calm himself down. And he made himself like a cup of tea and even like got ready for dinner because he's like, okay, she's coming back.
Yeah.
Right? She's coming back. I'm going to go get ready for dinner because this is all just going to be a big misunderstanding.
She's going to pop right
She's
back
gonna
up.
pop up and say, oh, sorry, this
It'll be
happened.
good.
We're going to go to dinner. And while this is happening,
Oh, no.
decides to order delivery from the Golden Triangle
Oh.
for one.
Ew.
Like while her dad and brother and mom are calling all of her
Searching.
friends trying to find out where she is, and he's like, you know what sounds good? The Golden Triangle.
Ugh.
And
Like, we were going to go here, so. And I mean,
he expected her to come back.
right. If he expected her to come back, why would
you
he not
order
have
food for
ordered
one?
some food for her?
No. No. So,
Not acting right.
Sounds like a piece of fucking
No.
shit.
so just after 8 p.m.
Though, wait, can I
Oh,
just
no.
make one more comment though?
Yeah.
He sounds like such a narcissist,
Yeah,
though, that
that's what I
don't
was
know
thinking.
that, like,
He would even think about someone else because
Right,
of the fucking
Yeah.
thing.
Like, she can get her own food. Fuck off.
like,
that's-
well,
This is what
she's
you
not
get
here.
for like not being here.
yeah,
You
like
shouldn't
that
have done
kind
that,
of,
yeah.
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 Just after 8 p.m., he buzzed the delivery boy. Well, the delivery boy calls him from the bottom floor. He's
Right.
like, hey, I have your food. And once up there, the delivery boy is like, hey, dude, I hope your food isn't cold. And he's like, what do you mean you hope my food isn't cold? And he's like, dude, it took me like 20 minutes just to get inside. The entire place is swarming with like cops and ambulances. And Aunt is like, what?
Oh.
And now we're going to pause there. So, like I said, this is all at the same time, but essentially on different floors.
it's, like,
of the
Different
building.
floors and different
Right.
people.
We're going to have a little ad spot break.
Boop, bop, bop.
There it is! I did it!
The last thing we talked about.
ACDC.
ACDC.
No, okay, so the last thing we talked about, Yeezy.
Here's what happened from the first
From Downton
the
Abbey.
Downton Abbey.
This is what.
From the first floor. Okay.
Downton Abbey.
So
Comes.
the apartment concierge, Beth Ozulip, I think is how you say her name,
Ooh.
or Ozulip, I don't know. She was working that evening. Beth was asked to go check on the trash compactor room that evening. They had like work done. There were also some people up on other floors doing like some construction. And her boss was originally supposed to check on the trash compactor room to like make sure it was all doing its thing, but he had to like leave early. So he's like, hey dude, can you like check these couple things, make sure it's all working smoothly? She's like, yeah. So she goes down the hall to the compactor room. So what I was gonna say was when I lived in this apartment, I actually had a garbage chute room. It was called like in this they call it a rubbish room because Australia
Rubbish.
rubbish. And we actually had one of those in that cool apartment that I lived in, and it was so awesome because anyone who's lived in an apartment knows it's the fucking worst to have to go out to the dumpster.
We had them in our dorms.
Yeah, and it was a room, and there was a little chute for recycling and a chute for
Garbage.
in the building. They had a trash compactor that went through all the floors, and then there in the bottom floor that the woman was checking was like a rotating carousel of big trash bins basically. So as the trash would go down, it would get compacted, and then it would just go into each bin, and then as each bin filled up, it would turn empty one, turn empty one.
Cool.
Makes sense.
I'm also
Yeah.
kind of picturing, though, like Star Wars. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
When Leia and that's for you, buddy.
Oh.
So She goes down the hall to the trash compactor room and she tries to open the door, but something is in her way.
Oh, God. Here we go.
She gives it a good push. And it triggered the automatic light to go on. So this room is, I mean, nobody like works down there, so it's pitch black, and then if you open it, it just automatically turns on. So she sees the light go on, and the first thing that she sees is one of those bins. I think there were 5. One of them knocked over, and on the like conveyor that held the 5 things, there was trash everywhere. So a bin had obviously been knocked over. Then between the door and the wall, she saw what she had initially thought to be a mannequin.
Mm.
Anyone want?
It's never a mannequin.
It's not a mannequin.
Never a mannequin.
It's never a mannequin.
I don't like it.
Okay, well.
It's never a mannequin.
It's never a mannequin.
Never a mannequin.
She saw what she initially thought to be a mannequin, but upon closer inspection realized that the mannequin was bleeding and thought, that's not a mannequin. She saw a dark-haired woman lying on her back, and she freaks out naturally. She's like,
Absolutely.
holy fuck. And she gets out of the room and shuts the door and is like standing in front of the door like, that's a person. You know, like, did I really just see that? And she's like, okay, I have to go back in there because that's a person. So like, I need to go see what's going on. Like, holy fuck, I need to go back in there.
So obviously she didn't get compacted, did she? Well, there was enough.
All
of
you
her-
saw so far, she only saw her for a second before she's like, holy fuck, that's a body. And then
Okay.
she goes in. So she goes into the room again. And this time, because at first she only saw the bin and the trash, right? Second time she goes in, she gets a actual look at what's going on.
Oh.
And she sees that there is blood everywhere. Like, everywhere. All around the room, all over the walls. There was a trail of congealing blood from the compactor to her body, and the rest of the floor was covered in trash. There was also smeared blood on the back of the door.
on the back of the door.
She's like,
Like, had she tried to get out?
she was still alive. Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Holy
I
fuck.
forgot we had a podcast for a minute, and I was just nodding my head. I'm like, yeah, yeah. But then I'm like, no one can hear that. You have to say yes. You
Oh, I
idiot.
don't like that at all.
So she said she immediately screamed and
Mhm.
runs out and
100%.
immediately calls Eric Giamaro, who's her manager. And he is
You
like,
don't call the police first?
I think she
It's
just
a panic.
Yeah,
probably.
it's one of those things. This story has a lot of like, you don't know what you. I didn't even call 911 when my house was on fire. Like
Right.
you know what I mean. So she calls. Honestly, if something happened, I'd probably call Michael and have him be like, "Yeah, you need to call the police. You want to call someone else."
I
don't
probably
know.
would, yeah.
Could she, when she was in the room, I mean, obviously there was blood everywhere, but like, could she tell that Phoebe was not alive?
My
Okay.
God, just let her
I'm
tell
sorry.
the
I'm
story.
sorry.
I know.
So many spoilers.
There's a
you
lot.
got in
There's
your
just
brain.
a lot. There's just a lot.
I'd make an excellent detective.
You would.
You would.
I did crack the code on the first.
Use our code 3AC for 25% off.
3AC.
Here's a hunted killer ad.
Boop-a-dee-bee-bop-bop.
So she ran out of the office and immediately calls Eric Giamaro, her manager, who said she was completely hysterical,
Mhm.
inconsolable, losing her fucking mind.
As I think we all would be.
Totally.
1000%. And so he said the only thing he caught was dead blood rubbish room. Was like the only words. And he goes, call 000, which is 911 in Australia.
Right.
When the police arrived, Beth, the woman who had found her, she met them at the front door and held out the keys to the rubbish room saying, I can't go in there.
Right.
Mhm.
Eric,
Beth's gonna need some therapy.
Oh, God.
See, like that is an irrational, or maybe rational, but like that is one of my fears is that at some point I'm gonna come across a dead
dead body.
body. Like I'm gonna find one.
That is
And
my-
I think you talked
I
about it once where
want
you were just
to
like,
find a
that is
body.
my dream.
I want to be on a hike and like see a foot sticking out of the ground.
Yeah,
like that is what I want.
I do not.
Not that I hope for someone to die, but like I hope to be one of the ones who finds like I don't know.
I feel like that is something now that you have one more therapy session left, I
Get it
feel
in
like
now?
that's maybe something you might want to mention
wrong with me wanting to
before, you sign off.
She's gonna be like, actually, I'm gonna stay with your insurance.
Maybe we need just a few more sessions, Emily.
Yeah. So she held out the keys, saying, "I can't go in there." Eric Giamaro and Tony, I don't know if it's Basil, Basile, I don't know. He was the manager of the company that operated the apartments. So Eric and Tony both arrived soon after the police, between 7:15 and 7:30 p.m.
I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I'm trying to imagine, as the manager of like a ritzy apartment, what it's like to get a call that like, hey, so yeah, there's a dead body in the rubbish like, beyond just the horror of that, like when you're a manager or something, like you're gonna be thinking about like cops and press and
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like that's just really
ACDC.
AC/DC. Okay. Like I said, Eric and Tony got there between 7:15 and 7:30. They're both the managers or owners or
Whatever.
okay. So this is 7:30. So this is still the same time that dude's getting ready to order.
So
his
he was
food,
ordering
but
his food like probably around this time.
Okay.
time. But and this is her parents and her brother and everybody's calling everyone.
Looking for her.
Oh
Yeah. An ambulance was also called at 7:20, and they arrived 7 minutes later.
Dang.
Christy Cook was a paramedic, and she said that when they arrived, she ran straight to the rubbish room where she immediately saw a body on the floor. There was an officer who was standing in front of the door who stopped her and told her that she could not enter the room because this was an active crime scene. And she said, "I'm a paramedic. There's a person in there." And he said, "Sorry, I can't let you in."
What?
That's what the fuck?
So she said, "This goes against everything I've ever been taught. There's a person. I'm a paramedic. Let me in there."
Good for her.
Yeah.
She didn't get it. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Fuck.
From what she could see in the doorway, she said that she saw a female who was lying on her back with cuts to her right thigh and hip, and her right foot was in an unnatural position.
Oh.
I mean, had the police I'm sorry if I'm spoiling again, but like, had the police checked for a pulse? Like, did they know she was deceased? Okay. Fine. You can't see it, but she's very
Smug.
smug.
She's
Yes,
smirking.
she's smugly smirking.
She's smirking with her knowledge.
So, the body also showed generalized cyanosis, which is a bluish tint,
Oh.
no spontaneous respirations, and she appeared to be deceased.
Oh no, appeared is not confirmed.
No medically trained person ever checked her to see if she was still alive or breathing or anything. Not once.
That can't be like, that is so weird. Like, that cannot be normal
It's not.
procedure.
It's not.
No.
So
it's
how
not.
did that happen? Like, I know I'm skipping ahead, but please tell me that like some of these police officers and whatnot were like officially reprimanded for royally fucking this up.
What do you think?
Don't you remember the two judges?
Because you don't know all the deets yet.
Oh Jesus!
She's gonna
this is
solve it.
already pretty fucking bad.
This weekend,
Like,
she's gonna solve it, guys.
She's gonna solve that.
She's gonna solve it.
So no medically trained person ever attended to Phoebe after she had been discovered.
It's fucking ridiculous.
The first people to even enter the room past the doorway were crime scene specialists who arrived hours after she was found. Like, nobody touched her. Nobody felt to see if she was warm. I think about that all the time, because if you come across a dead body, you should feel their temperature and if they have a pulse. Those are like the first two things you check for.
Yeah.
right?
And nobody even touched her skin. No one touched her. Nobody
so she
touched
could have
her.
been alive, laying there,
Blech.
bleeding out, dying.
And they just ignored her.
See, this is why I wanted to know the time of death. I'm very upset.
What the crime scene investigators revealed was that going by the blood trails, it was likely that Phoebe had survived the fall and crawled around trying to get out of the room. The room was pitch black, remember?
Pitch black, and her
She had
left
just
thigh
went
had
through a
been
goddamn trash compactor.
Yeah.
right.
While this is happening, Eric, the manager, is like, oh my God, wait, we have CCTV. We have CCTV. This is great. And so he goes to the police and he's like, dude, we have security cameras
Everywhere.
that will solve the or we'll figure it out. And then he said, I suggested to the police that if they needed the CCTV, they should start downloading now because they'd been having problems with the CCTV taping over old footage like too
course.
quickly.
Mm-hmm. They never looked at it. No.
He said, I suggest they start downloading now. And then he said, when he told the police this, they didn't really respond to him suggesting it.
What the fuck?
Okay, here's something that I want to know. I want to know, in the time between when Aunt got home, did he call either one of his parents?
No, not until after she was found.
So when they found her, no, they didn't know who it was. They knew that there was a woman, but it wasn't like the police got there and they were like, "Oh, this is Phoebe."
Mm-mm.
Okay,
They didn't know who she was.
okay.
They ended up losing all the CCTV footage.
Of course they did.
First.
At 8:45 p.m., Detective Sergeant Mark Butterworth.
Oh.
Great name. He took control of the scene. He wrote up a report that said when he arrived, he saw the body of a young woman lying face up. Her jeans were pulled down below her knees, and she had received a gruesome injury to her right foot. He also saw that the bin was knocked over and a bin was knocked over and lying on the floor beside Phoebe's body. And then, like I said, it seemed like there were 5 rotating bins. Like
She
I explained
probably
earlier.
tried to grab one to pull herself up with.
I think she landed in one. Because you'd go through the compactor
Right.
and then it would land in there. Around the carousel, he said that he saw a smeared blood trail and that he also saw blood on the back of the door, which told him that she survived the fall and was crawling around trying to find a way out.
Ugh. Ugh.
So back to Art upstairs while this is happening. Another location shift.
Motherfucker.
Remember, he got takeout from the Golden Triangle for one. The
Mhm.
delivery dude is like, bro, the cops are downstairs. So Aunt is like, wait, what? The cops are downstairs? The fuck? So he goes downstairs into the main foyer and he walks up to a cop and he goes, hey, I live here. Like, what the fuck is going on? And the officer, acting Senior Sergeant Andrew Healy, told Aunt that a woman's body had been found in the rubbish compactor room. And Aunt is like, oh my God, my girlfriend is missing. What are you doing? What are you doing?
My girlfriend is missing. I'm listening.
That didn't
I
answer
was
my question.
okay. So when you called him Miss the Butterworth, I was thinking about Mrs. Butterworth, and in the commercial, she would always the bottle would always say something, and I couldn't think of what the Mrs. So I was
you had to find out.
I was looking up Mrs. Butterworth. Yeah,
I do that all
because
the time.
the thing was, I knew that if I didn't look it up, I was
gonna
going
make
to
you
obsess
crazy.
about it and not be paying attention to the story. So I'm listening to the story. But unfortunately, if you look up Mrs. Butterworth Lane, all it shows you is you have to look at an actual video clip, which I couldn't do because we're recording a podcast. And then it was just all articles talking about Mrs. Butterworth and Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and how all the branding is changing because, the shit's racist.
Yep, it is.
So you could have just left it alone, but now I had to say all
I'm
of
glad
them.
actually she asked.
Yeah, I kind of am too.
Like,
It's all
we-
gonna stay in, actually.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna say, what the fuck are you doing? And you're gonna say, well, you said Butterworth, and I had to know. Oh my God.
It's the little things that I obsess over, and they will drive me crazy if I can't remember. And I can't let it go until I know. So since we've paused anyway, can I look at the video real quick?
No, put your phone
Wait,
down.
no.
It's
It's right
10:30.
here. I know, but it's right here. It's right here.
This is Butterworth. Yeah? How Broccoli tastes so yummy.
Well, my syrup is very thick and rich.
And rich?
Dude, this is so creepy. That was not
That
what I thought
was
it was gonna be.
terrifying.
If anybody knows what Mrs. Butterworth used to say at the end of the, because like she'd say something like, "It's the best," or you know what I mean?
I
Like
kind of know what you're talking about, but I
can't remember what it was.
I don't know what it is.
I will watch the new Batman trailer later.
Are you sure it's new?
New to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
So,
ACDC. That's gonna be our ACDC.
No, so acting senior sergeant Andrew
No.
Healy told Aunt that a woman's body had been found in the rubbish compactor room, and Aunt said, "My girlfriend is missing. Could it be her?" And he's like, "I don't fucking know. Who's your girlfriend?"
You're
Like,
right,
I don't know. And he tells the officer that he's been at work all day, but he said that he had checked on Phoebe periodically. He just said really weird things. He goes, "Yeah, well, I was at work all day, but like I checked on her, but she's been really depressed, and so like she's not upstairs, like I don't know where she is." And he's like,
That's always a
sketch.
sure sign of like you're fucking lying.
Well,
"Ugh,
and
Over
it's like
explaining.
It's like too much information.
Exactly.
That
It's
wasn't
like over
asked for.
explaining.
So he goes, "Okay, well
Oh yeah,
that's
over
like."
explaining.
He's like,
for
"That's
sure.
not helpful at all. Give me like I don't." He's like, "I don't know if that's your."
He's
girlfriend,
like, "That's
okay.
right.
Like
I
I
don't-
need you to tell
yeah.
me like what she looks like or something." Idiot.
Right? Like knowing that she was depressed.
That's
Doesn't
great.
tell me
but
who she
help.
is.
Right.
Like seriously. So he goes, "Well, does she have any distinguishing features?" And he goes, "Yeah, she has a tattoo on her right wrist to match mine," and he shows it.
Oh.
That wasn't a wise decision, honey.
She
Oh.
also had a stud in her upper lip. Detective Healy asked if she had a tattoo on her stomach, and he said yes, she does. And so he goes, "Fuck, I think that's your girlfriend. Can you go upstairs and grab a like recent picture of her so we can compare it?" He's like, "Yeah." And so the detective is like, "Okay, his girlfriend, this is his girlfriend. So now we need to go up to the 12th floor and like search their apartment because that's part of like this crime scene, right?"
Absolutely.
So
Or at least the trash chute. It's
something,
on
yeah,
their floor.
yeah,
Yeah.
they know where she came from, basically. So once they get back to his apartment, Healy observed that there was a broken glass and some blood on the floor. They also saw the Post-it notes with the weird scribbles on them, and when they asked Aunt about it,
There was broken glass on the floor of their apartment.
Yes.
In what room?
I think just I don't know. Right
Okay.
when you open the door.
Okay.
I picture it being a kitchen for some reason.
Me
but
too,
I don't know
but
why.
okay. All right.
Maybe because there was glass. I don't know. When they're like, "What are these scribbles?" He said like, "Oh, she has a tendency of like writing these weird notes like when she's drunk."
Well,
So he said that she would leave these sticky notes all the time when she was quote unquote smashed.
ugh.
So the detectives kept looking around the 12th floor, but now they were focusing outside the apartment. They were looking in the 12th floor trash compactor room. When they went into the floor of the 12th level compactor or the rubbish room, they did find a spot of blood on the door handle, and then they also found some blood on the concrete floor. Drops of blood.
Okay, so maybe she broke something, cut her hand, went to the room to throw whatever it was away.
Right.
Okay.
Totally.
I really don't like Aunt, and I don't know why.
I love it.
I have some.
You wouldn't let a demon take over your life?
Are you gonna let a demon run your life? Girl power.
Girl power.
So as I was editing this week's episode, I realized that it's a lot longer than I thought and was going to need to be 2 parts. So we are going to go ahead and pause right here. Luckily, if you're a patron, you will get both parts at the same time. But for everyone who is not a patron, you will get it next Wednesday as usual. For as little as $5 a month, you'll not only get part 2 early, you also get bonus episodes, ad-free content, and early releases every single week. For more information, go to patreon.com/threesacrime podcast.